Join me on a heartfelt journey of love, loss, and new beginnings as I navigate unexpected feelings for my coworker. Will I find happiness again after heartbreak? A new beginning. I always thought I had my life planned out, but when I lost my husband a decade ago, everything turned upside down. At 38, I was a widow, navigating a world that felt foreign without him. After years of coasting through life, I decided to make a change. I sold our house in search of a fresh start and moved to a new state. I thought a new place might help heal my heart. It was during this time that I met my coworker, Jason, who was going through his own turmoil, a messy divorce, and the struggle of being a single father to two adorable little girls. When I offered him a place to stay, it was supposed to be temporary, just 30 days, I thought. But as weeks turned into months, our lives intertwined in ways I never expected. My house, once filled with echoes of solitude, now brimmed with laughter and the excitement of children. I began to feel something I hadn't felt in years, happiness. But as time went on, I realized I was falling for Jason and his girls, and that scared me more than anything. The last day before Jason moved, I wanted to say goodbye properly. I cooked a huge dinner, hoping to make memories that would last. But as I hugged him goodbye, our lips accidentally met, igniting feelings I'd been trying to suppress. I panicked, closed the door on him, and avoided him for a week. I was terrified of what that kiss meant and what it could cost me. As I sat alone in my house, my heart raced at the thought of facing him at work. What if he wanted to talk about what happened? What if he wanted to make things awkward? I didn't know what to do, and the thought of seeing him again made my stomach churn. Part 2. Mixed signals. After avoiding Jason's calls and texts for a week, I finally decided I needed to confront my feelings. I had promised myself I wouldn't fall for someone else too soon, especially not a freshly divorced man. But when I did muster the courage to call him, our conversation opened a floodgate of emotions. I admitted that I missed him, but I was scared of what I felt. He listened patiently, understanding my fears. We agreed to stay friends, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was lying to myself. The connection we had was undeniable. He invited me over for Christmas, and despite my better judgment, I eagerly accepted. I wanted to see the girls again. I wanted to feel that warmth of family that I had missed for so long. As the days passed, I prepared for my visit, filled with excitement and dread. I brought gifts for the girls, hoping to make them happy and perhaps find a way to mend my own heart. When I arrived, the atmosphere was electric. We shared laughter, meals, and stories, and I felt a sense of belonging that I thought I had lost forever. But still, there was this undercurrent of tension between Jason and me. When he asked me to babysit for a New Year's date, I felt a pang of jealousy. How could he move on so easily? I found myself caught in a whirlwind of emotions, questioning everything I thought I knew about love and loss. Part 3. The New Year's Dilemma. As New Year's Eve approached, I prepared myself for the inevitable. Jason had a date, and I was going to be spending the night with his girls. I wanted to be supportive, but the thought of him out with someone else twisted my stomach in knots. I couldn't help but wonder if I was making a mistake by not pursuing what we had. That night, after I put the girls to bed, I found myself alone in his living room, sipping on the expensive scotch he'd once shared with me. I felt like a fool for missing him so much while he was out with someone new. As I sat there, I reflected on everything that had led us to this point. Did I still love my late husband, or had I begun to love Jason in a different way? When Jason returned home, I tried to mask my feelings, but my heart raced when I saw him. The warmth of his smile made my heart flutter, reminding me of all the good times we shared. But it was also a reminder of the choices we both had to make. I wanted to talk to him, to tell him how I felt, but I was paralyzed by fear. As he sat down on the sofa, we exchanged a few words, but the tension was palpable. I wished more than anything that I could just be honest. But would he understand, or would he see me as just another complication in his already complicated life? Part 4. Confronting my feelings. The days following New Year's were a blur. Jason and I returned to work, and I tried to act normal, but it felt impossible. Each time our eyes met, I felt a spark of something deeper. I knew I had to talk to him, but I feared it might ruin everything we had. After a particularly long day, I invited him over for coffee, trying to keep the conversation casual. But as we sat together, I felt the weight of my emotions pressing down on me. I wanted to tell him that I was scared, that I was confused, that I didn't want to be just friends anymore. As I began to speak, he interrupted, expressing his own confusion and feelings. He admitted that he had been hesitant to get close again, fearing it would be a rebound for both of us. But in that moment, our walls crumbled. We talked late into the night, laying bare our fears and hopes. I realized that he was just as scared as I was. We were both navigating uncharted waters, and it felt like we were finally on the same page. But there was still a lingering fear of the past, a worry that we might get hurt again. Would we be able to move forward together, or was it too soon? Part 5. Taking a chance. The more time I spent with Jason, the more I felt drawn to him. It was as if we were two pieces of a puzzle finally fitting together. I began to see glimpses of a future that I thought I had lost forever. But still, the fear of losing him lingered in the back of my mind. One evening, as we sat together, I took a deep breath and confessed that I had feelings for him. I watched his face as I spoke, searching for any sign of rejection, but instead, I saw relief wash over him. He admitted that he felt the same way, but had been waiting for me to take the first step. We agreed to take things slow, recognizing that we were both healing. It was a terrifying but exhilarating leap of faith. As we navigated this new chapter, I felt hope blooming in my heart. It was a chance to build a new life, not just for ourselves, but for the girls as well. But just as we began to embrace this new path, Jason's ex-wife appeared on the scene, and my heart sank. What did this mean for us? Would she try to come between us, or would she be a reminder of everything we were trying to leave behind? Part 6. Finding our way. As the days turned into weeks, Jason and I continued to explore our relationship while keeping the girls' best interests at heart. We built a routine, balancing the joys of parenthood with our budding romance. It felt like we were creating a new family, and it was beautiful. However, the shadow of his ex-wife loomed large. She had been reaching out more frequently, trying to re-establish a connection. It made me uneasy, and I couldn't help but worry about how it would affect our relationship. Jason assured me that he was committed to us and wouldn't let her disruption come between us. One evening, after a particularly tense week, we sat down to have a heart-to-heart. Jason told me that he loved me, and my heart soared. I reciprocated, realizing that my fears had been overshadowing the happiness we had built together. We decided to face whatever challenges came our way together. As we moved forward, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. Jason was not my late husband. He was his own person, and I was beginning to love him for who he was. We talked about our future and the possibility of blending our families. It was a thrilling thought, one that filled me with hope for what lay ahead. In the end, I learned that love can come when you least expect it, and that it's possible to find happiness again after loss. With Jason by my side, I felt ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing that we were building something special together, one day at a time.